Go!
Go check out igsky.com if you're looking for some cheap FIFA 16 coins. Use Rossi for an 8% discount. Enjoy the video. Hello guys, Mr. Rossi1990 here. It's going to be one of these videos which I get requested to do every single year. Now you guys are probably well aware by now that I am indeed a Leeds United fan. And what you want me to do, a lot of you over on Twitter and in the comments of pretty much every one of my videos, is predict their FIFA 17 ratings. Now, I'm going to do it for you guys today. I'm going to do what I see Leeds' 11 being as of now. Now, the transfer window is still open and Leeds are actively looking for other players. But as of now, this is what I would have as their team. Even though it's quite similar to the team which lost 3-0 to QPR, I still think it's a pretty decent team and it should do a lot better than their opening day fixture. But we're going to start things off, but hopefully you guys smashing the like button if you want to see more of these. I can still do a few, but obviously FIFA 17 is fast approaching now, so I've left it a little bit later than usual. But I'm also trying to do a few random hybrids at the same time. Also just recovering from a slight illness as well, which is never ideal. But yeah, we're going to start things off with Rob Green, Leeds United. Probably number one, let's be real. I can't see Marco Silvestri getting back in the team now. Rob Green's been signed. I see him. You can't see a player like Rob Green signing and then being a number 2 championship team, can you? Even though he's not the best goalkeeper in the world, he has his mistakes, he's still a pretty solid goalkeeper. And I've predicted him to remain as a gold card. Now, this is quite ballsy, because I'd imagine he'll go down to a silver. But his current card on FIFA 16 is a gold card. And I'm hopeful that he will remain a gold card, even if it is just a gold card at a 75 rating. Now, the stats you see there, obviously, it's just a complete prediction from me. They're quite similar stats to what his card is at the moment. I've kind of based it off that. But he's not a bad goalkeeper. He does make his mistakes. He already made one for Leeds in his opening game. Just terrible from a corner. It really was poor. And apart from that, he saved a penalty against Fleetwood last night. So that's a little bit of a good thing from him. So hopefully he does actually end up being a half-decent goalkeeper. And hopefully he does get that gold card. But we'll have to wait and see. Now moving on to number 2, which is what I would have as Leeds' right back, is BERARDI. Now Leeds today actually have just signed a guy called Luke Ayling from Bristol City, who is actually probably a right back. He can play a number of positions, right back, centre back, left back, possibly. But I think BERARDI, when fit, he's actually got an injury at the moment, will be their main right back. He's just a fantastic player. He's one of the players we bought in the Chileno early era, who turned out to probably be the best one out of them. Antonucci had a few good moments, but the rest of them have been quite poor, really, apart from maybe 1 or 2. But I think BERARDI have quite a good card next year, because I think he is a really, really good player. I rate him quite highly. If he can stay injury-free, he's definitely a top-end championship right-back, in my opinion. He is a very naughty kind of player. I'm going to say it as naughty. Picks up a lot of cards. But at the same time, he takes a lot of beatings. I mean, he's had a couple of black eyes and broken, well, maybe not broken nose, but he's bleeding from the face a lot. But I think he'll be a good, solid right back next year. Probably see him in a couple of championship squad builders and stuff like that. And probably, hopefully, he'll get a nice rated card. The next player is Liam Cooper. Now, I've gone for the Cooper back at the centre back, so I've not actually got Sol Bamba's card, because when Cooper's fit, again, he's slightly injured, hasn't played a full 9 minutes yet, didn't have a good pre-season, but when he's fit, I rate him higher than Bamba. I don't know what it is with Bamba. You can get a really good game out of him, but more often you're going to get a poor game out of him at this moment in time. So I see him as a leader, somebody off the bench possibly, or somebody to come in when somebody's not fit. But I can't see him being our main centre-back next year. It's actually a position I think Leeds need to strengthen a lot more, and maybe they will do that. But like I said, they haven't at this current time. They've just got actually 3 centre-backs to pick, and we're going to pick 2. But here's Cooper's card. It's a decent enough card. It's very similar to his one from FIFA 16, because I don't think he's going to improve too much. 70 rated, not too shabby. The next player is a new Leeds signing, and it is Kyle Bartley, signed on loan from Swansea. He's looked pretty decent, I think. He looks quite commanding. Big guy, I think he's like 6'4", very, very good a centre-back, in my opinion, for a championship-level team. But again, didn't play a fantastic game against QPR. None of Leeds' players did, so I'm not got much to rate him off, so I've gone for a very similar card, just FIFA 16 card. But I feel as if he may actually turn into being one of the better centre-backs we've had in a few years. I just see him being pretty good from his size. He's not slow either. He's got a bit of pace to him. Looks like he can command the centre-back position quite well, so I think he'll do quite well for them. But the next player is the iffy one. This is Charlie Taylor. This is our player of the year last season. He's got a terrible FIFA 16 card. I think he'll get a lot better FIFA 17 card, potentially pushing a gold, because I think he's that good. But also, the negative part of that, he has handed in a transfer request. His agent, I'm pretty sure, is a man who wants him to leave. He has got Premier League interest, so it makes sense. Agents obviously want the best for their players. But Charlie Taylor is a big Leeds fan. He loves Leeds. So I'm hopeful that they can at least keep hold of him. Cellino, obviously the owner of Leeds, said he's not going to sell him, but he'll be out of contract at the end of the year. So there's always a pressure to sell him, potentially now or wait till January. But then the money's just going to go down from there. So do you cash in on him, or do you keep him and then... Theoretically, if that's the right word, I think I said that horribly wrong. If Leeds get to January and look like they're in a good position, as Charlie Taylor, would you want to stay and potentially go on to help Leeds get promoted? Because there's nothing better than Leeds getting promoted. The person, the team, the manager who gets Leeds promoted finally will go down as a legend. It's as simple as that. So I have to wait and see if January comes along and how well they're doing then. But I think he'll remain as of now. But who knows? You never know in football. The next player is a very, very exciting talent. Now, we lost Lewis Cook, obviously, went for, I think it's about 10 million. They say between 6 and 10. Nobody's ever really sure. There'll be add-ons, there'll be clauses, etc., etc. Probably something like if he plays for England, if Bournemouth remain in the division, something like that, Leeds will get extra money. You just never really know exactly how much it is. But a lot of people said it was around 10 million. But this is the Ronaldo Vieira guy. Many people probably don't even know who he is. He's an academy kind of player. He came through some sort of academy. I can't remember what it was called. He's actually got a twin brother called Romario Vieira as well. Very, very good footballing names for sure. But he started Leeds' game against QPR. Also played the full, it was 120 minutes against Fleetwood, which is pretty good. I think he did. I can't remember actually if he got subbed off. I really can't remember. I think he remained on for the whole game. And he just looked really, really good. And he's a very young talent. Like I said, I think he's like 18 or 19, not very old at all. Got a lot of future ahead of him. I just hope to Christ that Leeds can keep hold of him, make him remain his potential, because the last thing you want is Bournemouth buying another one of our worldies. That would annoy me to shit. But I think he'll be a bronze card, because I don't think FIFA will really know too much about him. But I think he'll have a pretty good bronze card. As you see, some of the stats there are a lot better than the 64 actual rating. He's got a bit of pace to him, so 72 I've gone with. The other stats are kind of just guesswork, because he hasn't actually had a previous card on FIFA. This will be his first card, and I can imagine him being something like that. The next player is Toumani Diagouraga. What a name that is, by the way. I've cut off his head. Apologies. But by the way, it's all edited by me. Apart from the actual cards, they were created by somebody else. But I've done all the pictures and the stats and whatever, and the names and such. But I think this is another position where we need a better player. I like Diagouraga. I think he's a good player. I think he doesn't have a lot of pace, and sometimes he looks like he can get beat quite easily, whereas somebody like Liam Bridka, who we're very interested in signing, but for some reason that isn't going to happen, or hasn't happened yet, hopeful to still make that one happen. It'll probably be one which goes on like deadline day, and actually it's like, you know what, sod it, we'll just buy him, depending on what Leeds are doing in the league. But I think a partnership of Bridka and Ronaldo Vieira for me would be very, very decent. I want Ronaldo Vieira to remain in the team, so I just want him to remain in the team, as simple as that. And Diagouraga, I think, could be the one to step out. But at this moment in time, we haven't got another CDM. Luke Murphy's a potential for that role. Calvin Phillips as well. But I think Diagouraga, as obviously he played in the opening day of the fixtures. So the next player is a guy who I'm very excited about. ROOFE. Got him for 3 million, I think it was, from Oxford, their player of the year, the League 2 player of the year. And in pre-season, he looked quite decent. He didn't have a great game against QPR, but like I said before, no Leeds players did. But against Fleetwood, he looked lively. But saying that, Fleetwood obviously being a League 1 team, you can never really judge too much from that, even though they had a good game. They played quite well, and a lot of championship teams have lost to League 1 and 2 teams in this cup so far. So I think ROOFE did look very, very decent. I've given him a pretty nice card. He has got a bronze card currently on FIFA as his regular card, but he got himself a couple of, I don't know if he got an inform actually, he got a hero card for winning the same kind of situation as Lewis Cook got his hero card for, and then he got the team of the season silver card. I think he's inevitably going to go up to a silver card. 72 rated. I've got him as a left mid, but he can also play right mid and striker, so I'm not too sure exactly what EA will put as his default position. The next player is Stuart Dallas, who I want to see a bit more from Stuart Dallas. What a picture, by the way. It just suits that card, doesn't it? I'm going to put him as Leeds' right mid. Now, you see his stats aren't fantastic. I just don't think EA will give him good stats, even though I think he's a very, very good player. I'm being a bit more maybe obvious. I think EA will give him quite a poor stats, because they have done in the past, even though he has had a very, very good few seasons, really. It's not been fantastic, but he had a good Euros. He was obviously from Northern Ireland's point of view. He did quite well for them, and I think he'll be Leeds' right mid, unless Sacco the other player they've got can up his game a tad. I think he's got massive potential. He's got really good pace, good on the ball, can take on a man, but his final delivery and stuff could be a lot better. We've just loaned out Jordan Bataka to Charlton as well, so that rules him out of playing that role. Maybe we'll look into signing one more in that area, but Stuart Dallas for me at this moment in time will probably definitely remain in that position. Now on to the next one, which, oh my god, I'm so excited for this one. It is Pablo Hernandez. We got him on loan from a Qatar club. I think it's Qatar. I can't even remember. We got him on loan until January with the option to buy, which I assume they're going to buy him. I've only seen him play once for Leeds. He's a game changer. He is absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm not going to expect every single game he's going to have an unbelievable game, but he looks a class above. I tweeted out the other day, he genuinely does seem a class above every other Leeds player we've got. He's a type of signing I want to see more of. He's a cam in Ultimate Team at this moment in time for Rayo Vallecano. I think he's on loan there last season, which is in the top league in Spain. Even though I think they may have got relegated, it's still definitely a higher level of football than the Championship. So he's probably going to have a nice time coming down into Championship. Bit of more of a free role at Leeds in that cam position, linking the play. He reminds me of a kind of like, obviously not as good as, but more like the David Silva kind of player. He can link a lot. He doesn't look like he'll score loads and loads of goals because it almost seems like he wants to pass the ball off and get an assist rather than a goal. He's that kind of player. I think he's very similar in that step to David Silva. Like I said, not the same quality of footballer, but that type of footballer. And I think he'll have a really good season for Leeds. I'm hopeful that he'll remain a gold. He is currently a gold, but like I said before, knowing EA, they'll probably give him a silver left winger with no pace, just to annoy me. This is purely to annoy me, I'm sure. But the Leeds striker, Chris Wood. I want so much more from this guy. These have got Marcus Antonsen, who scored a really nice goal against Fleetwood, and I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he can be a very, very good striker. But in the formation Leeds play, which is the 4-2-3-1 with the two centre kind of defensive midfielders and the three cams, or the right mid, left mid cam, one striker. I can't see Antonsen suiting the one striker role as well as Chris Wood does with the link-up play, the flick-ons and stuff. Antonsen for me is a better striker in a 2 formation, but at this moment in time that isn't what Leeds are playing. And Chris Wood, on his day, can be one of the top strikers in the Championship. But at this moment in time, for Leeds especially, he has only had like 1 or 2 really good games, a few decent games, and a lot of poor games for me. He hasn't done what you want him to do. You want him to score lots of goals, you want to be winning all of his headers, you want to be just linking up the play. And I hope that he can do that this season. But again, against QPR, didn't look great, but he's got to get the service at the same time. It's not all his fault. He gets a lot of stick on Twitter. But sometimes, you know, the delivery isn't good enough. It needs to be better. But with somebody like Pablo Hernandez, I think he's going to thrive under the killer through balls. I really do. But at the same time, in that argument, would Antonsen be the better fit for Hernandez? That is the question. That is the $1 million question right there. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. If you have enjoyed it, I like it to be absolutely fantastic. Let me know if you agree with the stats I've chosen. A lot of them are kind of what I think is fair, but at the same time, some of you may think I'm completely wrong. But I think I've gone a little bit fair. I did one a few years back where I went absolutely crazy and had like 82 rated Leeds players. And I think I've matured a bit recently in the last couple of weeks. But anyway, I think you will probably agree with this. If you are a Leeds fan, let me know in the comment section below who you are most likely looking forward to seeing in FIFA 17. For me, Pablo Hernandez hopefully has 4-star skills. We've just lost Jordan Bataka, like I said, so we've no longer got our 5-star skiller for FIFA 17 next year, which is kind of frustrating. But I'd imagine they're going to drop into 4-star skills anyway, because yeah, tight. But anyway, like I said before, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd like to be absolutely fantastic. Subscribe if you're new. I will catch you all next time. And bye-bye. Boop! Teddy! Zah!